it's over. It becomes a two-possession game. If he misses, you're going to need a 90-foot heave. Missed them both. The final heave from midcourt and beyond, and Nigeria.
Many thanks for joining us right here in Sports Central here in Spectrum TV. Now let's get talking, and Blyden joins the conversation this morning. Blyden, it's a fine morning to have you join us as always.
Nice to be here. So good to be here.
How was the early morning for you?
Fabulous.
In terms of the weather, you notice any change?
Sure, the weather's changing.
Yeah.
People like me, we kind of really struggle under these conditions, but
really?
I'm fine. I'm doing great.
Why so?
Well, I wouldn't want to. It's a private
conversation.
Okay,
private conversation
on TV. But be that I said, man,
yeah.
I'm fine. I'm fine.
All right, good to see you.
I see you're fabulous too.
Yeah, doing great.
I tried the best I could not to use the other word.
Oh, okay. When I was somewhere, spent a huge part of last night and early hours of this morning somewhere.
What have we not known? Can you share, please?
Well, you talked about private stuffs earlier.
So, private, okay.
We keep private stuffs home. But we're here now, and of course, we're talking about sports here. Now, let's get straight to the conversation. It's about Formula One, and the Grand Prix in Yas Marina section of the weekend may have come and gone, but of course, the controversy still remains. And it's about the conversation whether or not Max Verstappen won fair and square from the weekend, and now following what happened over the weekend, the controversy at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, the FIA, Formula One's governing bodies, come out with a big statement saying the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix is slowly and steadily tarnishing the image of the sport. And now it's a quest for redemption. Blyden, can they get that redemption there's so much yearn for?
I see it happening in all the sports, not just Formula One.
Yeah.
It happens all the time. One wrong call somewhere and it changes the dynamics of the sport. But I think it's something that'll stick around for a while. It's something we'll have to talk about it, considering the fact that it's about making history.
Yeah.
When you look at the fact that Verstappen had to win this particular race, and it was his first and a record-breaking race for me, and it also stopped Hamilton from winning the race at this point. So be that as it may, it's something a lot of people will talk about for a while, but I think just as everything happens with time, it's going to die down. A lot of issues will go there and have to sort it. But before you come in, I think they have to get together and get the stakeholders involved to understand the problem, and possible, if there was a mistake somewhere, admit to the fact that there was a mistake somewhere.
Now, that's where we're headed to, because now we understand the race director, Michael Massey's action was at the center of the controversy. Now, the Australian, we understand, appeared not to follow the rules and standard protocols on restarting the race after a late race safety car period, but he's not mentioned in the FIA statement, and the FIA is saying that they would do a thorough investigation where all of the drivers, everyone involved would have to sit back and of course watch that again together and determine the way forward. So, like it or leave it, the FIA in this particular instance, of course, are making reference to a mistake being made in that particular circuit, and now that mistake cost Lewis Hamilton his 8th driver's title.
I agree with you to some extent. You will like to call it mistake, but from my point of view, I think they've not really come out to call it mistake.
No, they have. They have. They didn't mention. They never mentioned. They didn't mention Massey. They didn't mention Massey, but of course they pointed to the action he took, saying that he didn't follow standard protocol. He didn't follow the rules and standard procedure in restarting a race. So that's it. How more explicit do you want the FIA to be?
This is the point. This is my point.
Yeah.
When you have the steward team to say a different thing, that he had the power to decide at this point. Initially, when Mercedes led a complaint, they said it was still okay for him to take that decision. And now, instead of them to come out and tell everybody the decision we took was wrong, pure and blank. Now, that's what I expect them to do.
Let's look at something. Would you expect the stewards, following how heated and of course how tempers flare a little here, a little there, following that particular one between Red Bull and particularly the team Mercedes, who feel aggrieved following that particular action? Do you think it would have been wise for the stewards to come out at that point to say, well, we made a mistake. There was a mistake. Mr. Massey didn't follow standard rules and protocols. Just picture it in your head for a moment. How do you think that would have played out on Sunday?
It would have been ugly.
Chaotic.
It would have been ugly. It would have been chaotic, as you said. I agree to the fact that they should have just come out playing.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, at this point, I like the fact that there's bound to be a conversation.
Yeah.
They're ready for that conversation. Because if you don't correct something at this point, we might likely see a repeat of it in subsequent races. Maybe the next one in 2022. So I like the fact that there's a conversation. What I want to hear at the end of this conversation is, this is where we made the mistake. This is what was supposed to be done. And this is what will be done moving forward.
Well, whether or not they admit to making a mistake, I don't know how Team is said this, and particularly Lewis Hamilton would take that particularly, because like it or leave it, whether they own up to their mistakes or not, I'm not sure they would go back to rescinding the conversation. Of course, the way it stood at the end of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, which would mean rescinding the decision of awarding Max Verstappen the title for 2021, which automatically would mean Lewis Hamilton has a chance of winning a record-extending 8th Formula One title. Well, talk about how things move very quickly. Yesterday at the Windsor Castle, we saw Lewis Hamilton. He was knighted by Prince Charles. Well, that's something for the cameras, something to cheer about.
So we have Sir Hamilton.
Sir Lewis Hamilton.
Lewis Hamilton
Joins an exclusive list. You talk about sportsmen. Sir Alexander Chapman Ferguson won it, had it. Andy Murray had it as well. So it's Sir Alex Ferguson. Wow, Sir Andy Murray, not very popular though. And then, you know, the long distance runner Mo Farah also won it. Sir Mo Farah. So Hamilton joins this very exclusive. Just look at him.
I'm telling you.
It's different. If you look at the likes of Andy Murray, you look at the likes of Mo Farah, they're not as stylish as Lewis Hamilton. It sounds to me like David Beckham. You know, he's got all of the tattoos, and it's not really typically what's in the British culture. But they've set all of that protocol aside, because it's about honoring the man who's brought so much fame and fortune. He's done a whole lot in terms of developmental structures. He's encouraged the next generation, and it's a proud moment. Must be a proud moment for Lewis Hamilton.
It is. The question would be, who would deserve it better than Hamilton? None other than Hamilton. Fantastic driver. He changed the dynamics of Formula One.
Absolutely.
At the time, it was all about Michael Schumacher. Michael Schumacher, everyone was talking about Michael Schumacher. Nobody really knew that this black boy is going to come up and drive in exceptional ways.
Now, that's another point. When you look at, you know, talk about race, it's got to be about minority, you know, ethnic race now. But Lewis Hamilton has come out of nowhere and you know, taken this by storm. And you know, I was looking at some of his social activities, and one striking thing, you know, looking to encourage more black teachers in England to get into teaching science subjects. So personally, that's his personal project, pet project, very close to his heart, and he's paying these teachers, you know, encouraging more black teachers, male and female, to go in and teach science and lead the next generation of young black boys and girls who are interested in science and technology, in a bid to galvanize the passion, galvanize the motivation, and of course encourage them to be the shining light in the nearby future. That's got to be massive.
It's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing. It shows why he's been knighted. He's a knight. It shows that his contribution, not just to the sport, but giving back to the community, has been exceptional. We see this happen all the time, even with the likes of Anthony Joshua. They're doing all this. It's beautiful for me when I see black players or black footballers, black sportsmen, name it, drivers, doing this for the community, because they're a whole lot of inspiration for the younger generation. They're driving the force of, you can do whatever you want to do and achieve whatever you want to achieve. For me, it's exceptional and fine. I'm quite proud. I'm proud in a way for Hamilton being a sir. It's exceptional for me.
I couldn't help but notice the way you struggled to come up with the Sir. Well, you have to get used to it. It's Sir Lewis Hamilton. Sir.
Okay.
Sir. Sir Lewis Hamilton.
Let me do a repetition. Sir Lewis Hamilton.
That's a lot better.
There's an issue about Lewis and Lewis.
Sir Lewis Hamilton, please take a bow. I know you haven't gotten the 8th title yet, but take 8 bows. Congratulations.
So now
Lewis
he'll be driving a Formula 1 car and say, and they'll say, oh, that's Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah. It's not just Lewis Hamilton. Not if you want to say, I know over the radio, they will just say, hello, Lewis. No, it can't just be Lewis. It has to be, hello, Sir Lewis. Oh, I love that.
And who knows, soon we might have Sir Brian James.
Oh, no. Well, I think it's going to take some years, but I would appreciate
Come on, don't doubt yourself. Come on.
Oh, come on.
What you're doing already is what being a sir.
Oh, Sir Bright James. That would be absolutely magnificent.
I can even knight you on TV now.
No, please. No, please. You haven't got such powers. If I want the sir, I must get it the proper way, not through you blinded, please. All right.
Blyden is a prince, you know. You didn't know that, you see.
Okay. A prince of where?
Of the universe.
Oh!
Of Spectrum.
Well, we have a prince in the control room. I can't quite see you are the prince. That's the exciting thing
That's true.
right now.
That's true.
All right, now let's